sisters. Men will say what they mean. You know, I think that dress is a little too tight. I think that doesn't fit quite right. But sisters have this tendency. Oh, they'll say one thing out of this side, and then they'll say one thing out of the other side, and they never quite come to sides together. Y'all don't want to say yes, I know. But God says, I'm getting ready to tune your tongue so that your tongue will be as a pen of a ready writer and minister grace instead of sending forth and spewing forth the stuff that sisters have a tendency to send forth, which is the catty stuff. She thinks she's this. She thinks she's that. She thinks she's the other. What you think about her? Well, yeah, you know, I was thinking the same thing that you were thinking. And God says, I need you to know that when you speak, your words will keep going and going and going until they find a lodging place. And sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is a lie from the pit. My sister and I were growing up, and as we were riding the bus to school one day, she was dark-skinned, I was light-skinned, and I looked at her, and I thought it would be funny to say it, so I said it as I got off the bus. Come on, chocolate drop, get off the bus, tar baby. And everybody laughed, except my sister, and a little tear came out of her eye. And when I got ready to get off the bus, this little white boy looked at her, and he said, that's right, tar baby. Get off the bus. My eyes saw red. I got off the bus. I chased him up one street and down the other until I caught him. I beat him until he was black and blue. When running home, told my mama, Mama, Barlow called Sherry a tar baby, and I beat him. I beat him real good. I did good, didn't I, Mama? She said, where did he hear it? He didn't have sense enough to make up tar baby. Who said it first? I said, Mama, I said it. She didn't care anything about what he said. I was her sister. I hurt her so deep it took her years to overcome the low self-esteem of thinking that because she was dark-skinned, she was ugly. Took her years to come to a place where she understood that she was a beautiful woman and it didn't make any difference what color she was. And God had to teach me, and I had to minister to her. I had to apologize to her. I had to go back, and I couldn't say to her, you know, if I said something that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, because that doesn't cut it. Oh, look at somebody and say, don't try that. Simply because you know what you said and you know what you meant, so you've got to be woman enough to come back and to acknowledge it and to apologize for it just the way it is, and ask somebody to forgive you for saying what you should never have said out of your mouth. God says you've got to bridle your tongue and bring it under captivity, because you have the power of death and life in your tongue. Hallelujah. Look at somebody and say, speak gently to me. Speak gently to me. Don't say anything that you have to come back and take back. Don't say anything that's going to keep on reverberating in my spirit. Make me feel like I'm stupid. Make me feel like I'm less than I'm supposed to be. Speak grace. Sisters, words have to be gently seasoned with the grace of God. And when they are like apples of gold. And when God sees you being willing to minister grace to your sister, then he will always bring you to a place where no matter whether you agree or not, you find a way to leave each other in peace. You never leave each other hurting. Never leave each other hanging. Sister and I got into a fight one day, and Sharon said something. I thought it was funny, but she didn't think it was funny. And so I said, she said, that's not funny. I said, yes, it is. She said, no, it's not. And by the time she knocked me down the steps, it was not funny anymore. Oh, but as soon as she saw that I fell down the steps, because she's my sister and because she loved me, she wasn't about to leave me down there. She came running down the steps. Rita, are you not hurt? Are you not hurt, are you? I said, no, I'm doing all right. She says, all right, then we can go on with the argument. But till she found out that I was okay. Touch your neighbor and say, don't leave me hurting. Don't leave me hurting. Don't leave me. If we argue, let's come together. Let's agree before you leave me. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. And when sisters begin to understand that we are our sister's keeper, Oh, Lord. This is the part that we don't like to talk about, because we are responsible. We are responsible for the upkeep. We are responsible for the advancement. We are responsible for provoking one another unto good works. We're responsible for not being envious of what God is doing in the lives of our sister, but being there to provoke her, being there to encourage her, being there to exhort her, being there to let her know you can do it and you need to do it. Don't sit and let somebody else do what God has put inside of you. When you come to a place where you realize that God has given you something to do, you're not by yourself. You don't want to feel like you're by yourself. You want to feel like somebody else wants you to succeed. Somebody else wants you to have victory. Somebody else is willing to prefer you more than themselves. Just as in the case of Mary and Elizabeth, married women need encouragement. Single women need encouragement. All God's women need encouragement. And when you know that God has given you the ability to encourage somebody, shame on you if you keep it to yourself. Shame on you if you walk by them and see that they need to be encouraged and refuse to give them the encouragement they need. You've got to be willing to lay hands on them when necessary, pray for them when necessary, encourage them when necessary, knowing that as you do it, even if they fulfill their destiny before you do, even if they push out John the Baptist before you push out what you got to push out, you got to know that you're coming, your time is coming, that whatever God has given you to do is going to be done. But if he wants you to labor together as a midwife with somebody else, you got to be doing it. You got to be willing to go and let God use you. High five somebody, say, let the Lord use you to encourage me. Let the Lord use you to build me up. Let the Lord use you to edify me. Let the Lord use you. Because he does not want us to live in isolation. He does not want us to be sad, discouraged, trying to do what he's told us to do when there's help next door. When you have someone sitting next to you who, if they want you to succeed, is willing to encourage you to that end. When you find that sisters look at each other and they see each other heading for disaster, the tendency is, not here in London, but in America, the tendency is to wait until she falls and then say, shame on you. You should never have done that. Or, even worse, I knew she wasn't any better than that. I knew she was headed for destruction. If you knew it. My sister and I grew up, and Mama did day's work, and she worked as hard as she could, and she brought home as much money as she could, and we had the same meat every day for a week. We would have hamburger every day. Every day hamburger, hamburger, hamburger. On Monday, we'd have meatloaf. On Tuesday, we'd have spaghetti and meatballs. On Wednesday, we'd have hamburger helper. On Thursday, we would have Salisbury steak and gravy. On Friday, we'd have 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. And on Saturday, this Saturday, we were supposed to have a patty with some pinto beans and salad. And my sister and I decided we weren't eating not another piece of hamburger. All week we'd had hamburger. We ain't had no job. We wasn't bringing in no money. But we decided we wasn't going to have no hamburger. So my sister, Sharon, put the hamburger meat on top of the trash can. Because she wasn't having it. She wasn't eating it. She put it on the trash can. But I was smarter than she was. I put mine behind the refrigerator. So y'all was older, I was wise, I put it behind the refrigerator. Mom came home from work, came in the kitchen. How you girls doing? Doing fine, Mama. Y'all have a good day? Yes, we did. When she looked over the trash can, she said, what's this on the trash can? Who done put this meat on the trash can? Somebody getting ready to get a whipping up in here. My hard-earned money, put it on the trash can. I know you didn't put this meat on this trash can. Who put this meat on this trash can? Sharon say, I did, Mama, but Rita put hers behind the refrigerator. Ain't nobody asked her to testify. Confession is good for her soul. Don't confess for me. Mama looked at her and said, you get that meat off that trash can and you better eat every bit of it. She looked at me and I said, no, Mama. She said, yeah, get the hamburger meat from behind the refrigerator and you better eat every bit of it. We had one of them old refrigerators that had the fuzz behind it. I had to get